Okay guys, we're back. So I'm gonna record this video. I tried to make one video, but I stopped because I didn't have the National Hurricane Center's page pulled up, and it will take some time to get this one up when I'm recording. So I'm just gonna have this one up right now. Okay, so in the Atlantic Ocean, for right now, there are no tropical cyclones expected in the next 48 hours. And I also believe there's nothing expected in the next 5 days if I click on this graphic right here. Yeah, so there's nothing expected within the next 5 days or the next 40 hours. For North Atlantic, Caribbean Sea, and Gulf of Mexico, tropical cyclone formation is not expected during the next 5 days. But as you could have seen up here, I think previously, there was a storm in the Eastern Pacific, which is Estelle. I have to go back and see how to pronounce this. But currently, Tropical Storm Estelle is a 70-mile tropical storm with is a tropical storm with winds of 70 miles per hour, a pressure of 994 millibars, and is located at 14 north, 103.7 degrees west. So it is southwest of Mexico, but it's not expected to make landfall there. It will still produce rip currents and swells, obviously, because all storms do that. But it's going to be moving like this away from the coast, and will eventually die out around here due to cooler waters. And then we might get a storm that forms up behind that one. So that forms up from intertropical convergence zone thunderstorms around here. You might have to watch that as well. So that just formed, I believe, yesterday or early today. I think early in the morning this storm formed. But I had a high chance of formation yesterday. And in the Central Pacific, we have Darby, which is a tropical storm, but it's about to dissipate in about 1 day or two. But this storm, a few days ago, became a major hurricane, a Category 4, 140 mile per hour storm, which I believe the pressure was 954 millibars. So for the size of the storm and the wind speed it was pretty strong. The pressure was a little bit high for it, though. But you normally expect that pressure in a high range Category 3 hurricane, but we got it here. So this storm's not expected to make landfall in Hawaii. It's supposed to go south of the island. I can possibly click on the storm, I believe. Yep. It's 45 miles an hour right now. It's moving at a decent pace. So yeah, by Sunday, 2 a.m. in the morning today, the storm should dissipate. The storm should dissipate before it, it's the dead end. It's its end around south of, I forgot what island this is, but it will be south of there, due south about around 5 nautical latitudes south, 5 latitudes south of where this island will be. And that's the cone. And I also think there's other stuff, yeah. There's wind history. So this is where the storm went all throughout its lifetime. It peaked around here. The storm peaked around here. It became a hurricane all the way over here, but it peaked in this area. And then it's steadily come this way. So Darby is the second major hurricane of the Eastern Pacific hurricane season. Bonnie, which came over from the Atlantic, was the first one that they had. So that's pretty interesting. But let's get to Estelle first. Let's get to Estelle. Let's go back. Let's get to Estelle. Because Estelle is the bigger storm. This one's dying out. Even though it will bring some rain and some swells to Hawaii, it just won't bring too much. Now, obviously, you just have to be careful to not go into the water, but it's okay. Alright. Estelle is supposed to become a hurricane. It's moving at 10 miles an hour, so it's moving at a decent clip. Yeah, so this will become the third major hurricane of the Eastern Pacific hurricane season. And I think I already went over the stats as of the 10 a.m. Central Time Advisory. They'll get their next update at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So, wait, no. I think this would be, wait, yeah, 11 p.m., 5 p.m. So, no, they would get theirs at 4 p.m. Central Time, which would be 5 p.m. here. Alright, I fixed that. So it's going to become a major hurricane out here. And then, like I said, then it will weaken down as it approaches cooler waters. There's not too much wind chill and dry air around here. It's just the cooler waters that are really hampering the hurricanes once they get too far. But when they just start up, it's pretty easy for them to go. Now, like maximum time of winds, some winds can get a little close to Mexico, but it's unlikely. Very unlikely. And I think if it's possible, I need to get to discussion. Yes. Okay. As steel has continued to strengthen this morning, earlier passive microwave imagery indicated the vortex was slightly tilted in the vertical, likely due to 10 to 15 knot of deep layer northeasterly shear. So the wind's coming from, I believe, this way. It's coming across the storm like this. So imagine I'm drawing an arrow. I'm drawing it like this, and then it comes down. So the storm is being chopped. It's not really being chopped, but it's getting wind shear on its northeastern side that's pushing the convection further southwest. But but that's about it for now. The mid-level eye feature was still open on the upshear side, but recent satellite trends show an expanding central dense overcast with negative 75 to negative 80 degrees Celsius cloud top spreading over its center. The 12 UTC objective and subjective satellite estimates were all at 55 knots, but given the recent improved satellite presentation and an uptick in the ADT estimates, the advisory is set at 60 knots. Further strengthening is expected as steel moves within a moist and unstable environment over very warm sea surface temperatures. Of course, this assumes that steel is able to close off its inner core to resist the negative impacts of continued moderate 10 to 15 knot deep layer shear. The latest intensity guidance unanimously supports at least steady strengthening over the next 24 to 36 hours, and the ship's LGM model favor rapid intensification, with some indications that the shear could weaken a little bit later today. The NSC forecast is higher than the previous one, and especially forecast rapid intensification, generally between the multi-model consensus and the most aggressive ships/LGM model aids. Estel is expected to become a hurricane later today, and is forecast to become a major hurricane by early Monday. Later next week, increasing shear and decreasing sea surface temperatures along this track should lead to a weakening trend on days 3 to 5. The steel is moving west-northwest, 295 degrees if this was a circle, which it is, on a circular way, so it's moving northwestward, at 9 knots, about 10 miles an hour. A mid-level ridge entrenched over the southwestern United States should keep steering a steel west-northwest during the next several days. There is increased spread in the track guidance on days 3 through 5, with the GFS on the far northern edge of the guidance envelope and the ECMWF in UK met faster and much farther south. The NAC track forecast is not just a bit south of the previous one in extended range, but still lies slightly to the north of the TBCE HCCA8. So here are your intensities. So it's supposed to become a minimal major hurricane. Still a major hurricane nonetheless, and this was made by forecaster Reinhardt. Okay, so moving on. I think this is satellite imagery. It's gonna take a bit. Yeah, so Darby's convection's pretty much gone, almost. It's very low compared to what it should be. And we look at Tropical Storm of Steel, if this will pop up. I think we might be able to get this up. Yeah. Just have to get this to load properly. It might take some time, I don't know. Might take some time. Yeah, it's gonna take a little bit of time, guys. I'm sorry. But hopefully it's not that bad. I just need my Wi-Fi to do better right now. I think it's partially my recording that's also hurting me. So please bear with me. I don't really know what I'm doing. How far are we through this? I think we have the full Video loaded. Alright, so it's a little bit stuttery, but if you can see, we have a large plume we have a large plume of thunderstorms and convection firing up around the center of the steel. Now there is a little bit of wind shear. It's not hurting the storm too much, but the storm will get impeded by it a little bit. So you can see the thunderstorms are firing up, and the coldest it's been in about here up to at least -80 or higher in the eye wall, or what would be the eye wall. So these storms are pretty tall in the atmosphere, and the storm itself is getting pretty organized so far. So we could go to forecast models now, hopefully. We'll just go to the Eastern Pacific right now. We'll talk about the Atlantic in a bit, because in the Atlantic there's not too much going on. I'll show you like one brief satellite picture of it, and I'll tell you like what's going on, but there's not too much going on over there right now on the Atlantic side. So hopefully this is loading, because I'm going to try and show every model I can. I don't really care if this video is too long. I just want to see how well I can get through this. Alright. Can I move it? Yes, I can. How far can I go? I can go to 300 hours. No, I could go to all 384. Okay, we're good. Okay, so this is steel. It ramps up over the next 24 hours, becoming a 978 storm. So this storm would be pretty strong, and this is gaining in strength on the DFS model pretty quickly. 971 seems to be the peak so far. 967. Okay. Is that 967, 969, 967, 969, 964 is the lowest. And then just start going back up, 966, 65, yeah, and then starts going back up. So the peak of this storm will be 964 in about 72 hours. The storm will have a lot of heavy precipitation on its southeastern side, but the storm will be pretty large. I don't know how big the storm will necessarily be on like a cloud, on like on miles, like on a mile standpoint, because I can't really do that. But if we're going from like one edge to the other, I think this is 117, like 110. If we're going like this, and if but I'm not going to include this because I can't really tell if that's part of the storm. But at least it's seven lines of longitude across. But after it keeps going into the cooler waters up here off the Baja California, coming down from the California current, and then weakens down and it dissipates into a remnant low in at least a week. In a week's time it will be gone. But now you already have more storms coming off of Central America, more tropical cyclones, potential for 3 different areas that one can form. Now we are getting pretty far out, so take this with a lot of grain of salt. A lot of salt, because we don't really know what's about to happen, because it's too far. It's practically the end of the month. We have at least one storm here, one storm here. This storm that did exist is now pretty much gone, or its remnants are moving up. This could help with the monsoon season a bit. These storms move out. Yeah, that's a decently powered hurricane. It's a Cat 1, the strong tropical storm, or Cat 1. So we have pretty strong storms in the Eastern Pacific right now. And then you might get another chance for another major, like on August 1st, but that's way too far out the top. But what this does say is that the activity in the Eastern Pacific is not going to stop anytime soon. Although there is supposed to be a shutdown in the Eastern Pacific, eventually, in August sometime. If possible, let me actually pull up a different model. ECMWF. Can I pull this up? Because I think this only goes to 240. Yeah, and there's some hours that I can't see. But I mean, even still, like, hold on. But even still, you still have an active storm pattern. Please take it back. Alright, so even we still have an active storm pattern here. It keeps going. So you keep getting thunderstorm activity off of Central America. Now, it still keeps going on, but it doesn't impact Mexico directly. And just like the GFS, the storm will eventually move out to cooler waters and start weakening, and eventually dissipate around like 6 to 7 days out. The storm begins to dissipate. But looking at this, we can tell that it still is probably, because the GFS took this a little bit more northern. Not like way far north, but it took it a little bit more northern. So like when the GFS, I was on the end. I think the GFS was like right here, or was over here already. So the GFS has it moving a little bit farther north. ECMWF and I think the UK Met model, as mentioned by the National Hurricane Center, which is the NHC for short, had mentioned that the UK Met and ECMWF, the European model, at the storm farther south. Alright, let's move on to the United States of America right now for temperatures. Let me actually move this. Where are we? Regions. Let's go to the United States. Let's actually go to, let's go to the contiguous United States. All the lower 48 states of the Union, which excludes Alaska and Hawaii. So these are the 48 states, if you know them. Washington, Oregon, California, Nevada, Idaho, up here, Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, Iowa, not Minneapolis. It's not what this state's called. This is called Minnesota. Minneapolis is a big city in Minnesota. And then all the eastern states, a lot of the eastern states of the United States. Trying to establish a secure connection right now. I don't really know what's the problem, but okay. Let's go look at thermodynamics because we have to talk about this heat wave that is coming. Well, coming or is already and is probably already here in the United States right now. So let's bring it up. Just have to move everything back. I'm gonna switch to the GFS for this one. So we can get the full 384 hours. Oh wait, no, contours is actually not good. Hold on. But yeah, if you guys do know, this is taking me a little bit of time because even though the internet's getting here, I am recording, so it does make my computer run a lot slower. So I am sorry about that. I am sorry for that. So I'm going to try and make that better for you, but I can't really do too much. All right, it's 2 meters shaded, I believe, and then we go to the GFS. Go to the GFS because that's our... Yeah, okay. So, I guess we'll go to the Euro first. That's the model we have right now. I don't know why it's still trying to establish a secure connection. We already have one. Alright, so... We're looking through time in the United States. You can see it's pretty hot here in the central and southwestern United States. It's pretty hot here. We're getting up to, like, I believe this is in the afternoon. Yeah, I think that's like late evening. Yeah, late evening. Like evening. Peak of the day. Not noon, but like 4 p.m. around there. So you have temperatures in the western United States around Arizona, California. 107, 106, 107, 108 maybe. 100 here. 102 here. Obviously on the coast is cooler because the water around here is colder than it is on the East Coast. think these waters are about the same temperature as these over here. Yeah. But you have a large stretch of 90s, of 90-degree weather, and up to at least 100 going pretty far north. This is about 40, or 50, no, not 40. 50 north is like right here. So it goes from about 40, yeah, from about 49 north all the way down into like, I believe central, into like Mexico, all the way down here. Like from 49 to 21 north in the Great Plains, it's gonna be very hot. If not scorching, man. And we keep looking, it keeps building like day after day. Now you might get some storms, but it's going to be rare to get rain around here. Because every day it just builds back. High heat, day after day. Doesn't really stop. Now on Saturday it does expand a bit. In California it gets a lot worse. In the central valleys and stuff. And obviously in the desert, and then Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas. So in the deep south up into the middle of the country, will get pretty hot, like very hot. This is weather that you don't want to work in at all. Oh wait, this is previous, so this is now casting. Okay, I'm sorry, I was looking at previous temperatures. So this is today, apparently. Sunday is supposed to be hotter, which is tomorrow. This is Sunday. It's going to be, the heat expands farther north, 109 in Oklahoma, 110. 110 still in California and Arizona, and even in Nevada. The heat's still going very far north. He's now have 90s all the way up to at least the Hudson Bay up here. It is cooler in the Ohio Valley, so you guys should be good. I think this does come with severe weather and rain now, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not going to cover that today. I might cover that tomorrow. I'll try my best. I don't know. Overnight lows, not too cold. Not very cold at all. Barely any relief at night. So if you're gonna sleep, you're going to need to have the AC on. Fortunately, on Monday it expands 111. Texas, the worst temperature here, but you still have widespread 100s and upper 90s. Even if it's not like the upper 90s, the 90s still extend for quite a large area. They stop around here, like this will be the 90-degree line, like right here, going all the way around. I guess you can make the argument that this is also in here too. So if I just like outline this, and then we just circle this in. If I had the painting tool. That's Monday. Monday's kind of one of the worst days. All right, let's see what Tuesday has. It's Tuesday. It's supposed to be really bad. Okay, yeah, 114. You're getting up here now. You're getting up here into temperatures that are almost unlivable. This is well, it is pretty unlivable, actually. And you're not getting a bunch of rain. You're not seeing, like, these pockets of 70 degrees just in the random areas of just a bunch of warm air. Not like over here. These are mountains. But over here, there's not too many of these besides this area right here. And in my area over here is going to be pretty hot as well. But it's only going to get worse, guys. And this is about 4 days out. What's the worst of the heat? Around here. Well, I think, yeah. No. Where is it? No. Where's the worst of the heat on that day? Because this is Wednesday's heat. Yeah, so on Wednesday, Texas is still very warm. Oklahoma as well. This area is still very warm. This is going to help to warm up the coastal shelf waters of the sea right here. So especially like northern Gulf Coast, it's going to help warm up those Gulf temperatures really quickly. Especially this can stay around here for like days on end and like even weeks. If we can get this heat to keep going, this water will be very warm for when the hurricane season actually starts picking up again. But still, around here, still high hundreds, still 100, 110s or hundreds. It's still very warm. And over here, the farther east you go, I think it's more humid, but you're at least going to get at least some rain. So northeast, it gets a little bit cooler. But it does not get any cooler in Texas. No, it still says 93 at night. Really? Yeah, it still stays 93 degrees at night. It's not good for you guys. On Thursday, the heat's still there. In the northeast, it is pretty bad in the I-95 quarter right here. The northeast megalopolis section is pretty bad. Not as bad as over here, but it's still pretty bad. It's almost comparable to some of these white areas. On the edge of these very white areas, like around like Mississippi, is comparable to that heat. But like still, even on the Euro, it's still like every day pretty much. It's like that. Now it may cool down a little bit, but now this heat's up here. But now this is where we switch over to our good old friend the GFS, because we get 384 hours of coverage. And I'm gonna talk about the heat more here. Oh wait, no, hold on. I have to make sure I'm up to 0. Have to make sure I'm not covering past weather, because past weather already happened. Alright, here we go. Alright, so 81 degrees in the middle of Kansas in the middle of the night. Or in the morning, I believe, yeah. Is it the morning? Yep, it's definitely in the morning. But yeah, similar picture, but like the heat is now more pronounced. Even in North Carolina, the heat's more pronounced. It's not like very hot, but it's still extremely warm here. Like, so I still advise caution here, but not like the same extreme caution as I would here. And so in the desert Southwest, it's still extremely hot, and in the Valley of California, in the Central Valley. Excuse me. Oh yeah, it gets even hotter too. But over on the East Coast, yeah, there's thunderstorms that come through that cool you down. So that will help a little bit. They might be severe, but the rain will cool you down, which is the most important part. On Sunday, it warms all the way back up. Now you have 90s that stretch all the way up to here. But you do have a pocket of 70 degrees in like Ohio, the center of the country. So this is from that severe weather system that's coming through. That's the reason there's so much cooler here, while everything else around you is at least in the 80s, at least 80 degrees, and then surrounding that's a bunch of 90 degrees until you get above here. But we just keep going, like, day after day. Like those hundreds don't go away in the center of the country. It even gets worse. It gets worse. You get hundreds in Arkansas, Kansas. Even a lot of Florida is even in it too. It's not hot like Texas is, but still, 92, 95 Central Florida, bad. Especially with all the humidity down there. And at night, the temperatures don't cool down, which is a major issue. So you have to have AC on. If you don't have it, there's a high likelihood that you can die just from the heat stroke and heat exhaustion. So you have to make sure that your AC is always on, man. Yeah, like look at this. Look at this. Look at this right here. But even on Thursday, the heat over here is not as bad. Or is it just a lag in the day? Yeah, it's a lag in the day. Okay, hold on. Yeah, so during the eastern U.S. when it's actually warmest, we have 100-degree temperatures almost in New York City. Yeah. Now, farther west is not as hot. It drops down pretty quickly to like 80 something. That's still pretty warm. Not as bad as this almost 100 in eastern New Jersey, though. And then that warm air goes all the way up through the I-95 corridor. So this area right here is still going to be very warm. Philadelphia might be a little bit cooler than the areas to the east of it, but it's still going to be very hot. Mississippi, you might get some storms to cool you down. In Florida, still very warm, 97 in Orlando, 96, 97, 99s in North and South Carolina. It's very warm. This intense heat goes all the way up into like North Dakota. 100s in Nebraska all the way down to Texas. Bad, man. And then when we go over, the heat shifts over. But at least on this day, there's supposed to be some thunderstorms. Like 5 days, 5, 6 days from now. And on Friday, it does expand a little bit. But it's more hundreds in the center of the country. It cools down slightly in the northeast and a little bit in the south. You do see more rainstorms popping up. But overall, it's still very warm. I think that's even 99 degrees in the middle of Florida right now. Wow. It's really bad, man. Now, there might be a storm here, but I don't think so. This doesn't look like storm territory. It could be, yeah. Yeah, that's very cool for this spot. Yeah, there could be a thunderstorm here. But there's a lot of warm air to tap into. Now this warm air, I don't know if it's pretty dry. I have to check the dew points. But so we're getting pretty far out there, but like look, this heat just continues day after day after day. Like it just doesn't end, man. You just have a ridge just sitting over this area. Oh, 100 degrees in Florida? Okay. Oh, well, this is pretty far out, so shouldn't take this with too much salt. But, like, with too much, like, meat to add it to it. But still, this heat doesn't go away. It's still here days and days later. Like the pattern's still here. It's stuck. Like, nothing can happen here. It's still stuck. Like, it's not too important to pay attention to, like, actual temperatures. Like, the actual signal here, it keeps going. Now, in the northeast, it does cool down by the end of the month, I believe. Wait, no. Hold on. It cools down a little bit by the end of the month. But even still, like, this heat's bad. It keeps going. Over and over. It persists in the southwest. It persists in the center of the country. It persists in the deep south of the United States. And it goes up the coast. Only real area that's not that hot, if we keep going scrolling back, is the Pacific Northwest, like on the west side mountains. That's about it. It's bad, man. Now, as for the ridge of high pressure, let me just pull that up. I'm not gonna go too deep into this one because I think I already talked about the heat enough. I'll talk about the drought next. Then I'll talk about sea surface temperatures, stuff like that, and the climate prediction center, and then we'll end the video. But oh wait, hold on. Not for geopotential height anomalies. I need I don't want anomalies. I want the actual height and mean sea level pressure. That's what I need. Not this. Need to mean. Okay, here we go. This bad, man. Okay, so remember back to 0. Now this is incredibly slow. I'm sorry, guys. I'll try my best next time. I'll try better next time. I'll try to make the video a lot shorter. I don't know how long this video is, guys. I'm sorry. Please load. But yeah, even with the ridge, like the ridge here, it just doesn't move. Like it moves east over time. But look, even at the end of this, like the ridge just isn't moving. You have some troughs that come across the country, but once that ridge is in place over the southern United States, southern United States, it just builds back in and it gets stronger. Like it's not going away, and it even gets stronger still. So, not a lot of some rain coming, but not a lot of it. You might get more rain over here in the northeast and the eastern part of the United States, and for the monsoon, but you're not going to get much. Not going to get much in the way of rain right now. And if you look at your drought monitor, like this heat is going to make this drought a lot worse. Because if we're going down to this intensity impacts, normally dry isn't that bad. It's normally dry here because it hasn't rained too much in the past 2 weeks, but it's not like a drought. And then you have moderate drought, severe drought, extreme drought, exceptional drought. And then you have short term, which impacts agriculture and grasslands. But then long term is ecology and like the hydrological system. So you might get less water and stuff like that. So we're looking at that. And this drought monitor was just released yesterday. Look at it. Look what's happening here, guys. We're thinking about this. There's a large drought in the western United States right now, and in Texas, and in the Great Plains. Although it's weaker than it is in Texas and in Midwest. Like there's drought in every section of the country right now. Pretty much in every state there's a drought, except for North Dakota, it seems. But this could easily change with this 100-degree weather that's pretty dry and keeps coming over and going to keep staying here over and over and over again. Like the forecast may change later where it eventually breaks, but if this stays here for a very long time, at least it's going to stay here for at least a week or more. This drought is going to get a lot worse because you're not getting a lot of rain coming in here. It's going to get worse. I wouldn't be surprised if you see a lot more severe and extreme drought here. You might even see these exceptional droughts start moving up into the Great Plains and get a lot worse over here. Now, in the northwestern United States, it won't be as bad. Like it may dry out a lot further in the interior. On the coastline, it's going to dry out slower because it's cooler. In the northeast and like the eastern coast, in the east coast of the United States, the drought might be enhanced, or might stay around because it's so hot. But at least there will be at least some rain coming that will at least put a little cap on our drought, stop its expansion for a little bit of time. But like I was mentioning, like sea surface temperatures, man. Like, hold on, like sea surface temperatures. Let's talk about this because the Gulf of Mexico, I believe, did cool down a little bit since last week. I could barely read. Oh my, barely read this. Oh yeah, this is 31 Celsius in orange, and this is 30. Okay. Okay. So yeah, so this 30 Celsius, the area of 30 Celsius, so it's just water is actually 30 degrees Celsius, has gone down a lot. Well, not gone down a lot, but it's not the entire Gulf as it used to be. What happened? A fly just flew over here. I don't know why. What happened, man? Rip. Okay. Just in case something popped up here. It's gonna fly away anyway. But, like, water along the shelf of Louisiana and around the west coast of Florida, not the east coast so much, but the west coast, it's 30 degrees Celsius, right? But the majority of the Gulf is 29 degrees Celsius. 28 around the Yucatan, and around the very western edge of the Gulf, and south, right? However, a lot of it's 29 degrees Celsius is closer to this 30 than it is to 29. Because 29 is like right here. So it's a little bit yellowish, but it's not that far away from 30 degrees Celsius. Like this green is like, the green is closer to 28, basically. It's around halfway. It's not halfway. It's closer to 29. So even this green right here is a lot closer to 29 than it is 30. But there's a lot of yellow here. So this is pretty close to 30 degrees Celsius. So all it really takes to warm this back up and get these 31 Celsius waters to come back and even get 32 or more. And I doubt that we'll get to 33 Celsius somewhere in the Gulf. Like a large expanse of it. But still, like, if we get a large ridge over this area that keeps sitting over the United States 100 degrees week after at least 1-2 weeks, the Gulf of Mexico is going to warm up a lot. Now, it will matter in terms of getting moisture into the United States for two reasons. Because even for hurricane season, it will matter because if you get a storm that comes through here, like, let's say you have a storm that comes to Florida. Oh, wait, no. Let's do a better option. One that's happened more these past few years. A storm that forms in the Caribbean or around there comes through here. And then it hits Louisiana or comes through here and comes to Louisiana-Texas border. Laura did the Louisiana-Texas border thing. And Ida last year did the Southeast Louisiana push. but they usually came off from this one area in Cuba as of recent, but they don't have to. They can come over the Yucatan and make a landfall here. They could come over Florida. They could come through the Strait. They could come from anywhere. Not so much these systems that just come off the continent and then come back in. They're not as strong. They're usually heavy rainmakers, which is also a threat in its own if you get too much of it. But what I'm saying, man, is come on, like this amount of heat is normal for this time of year in some of these areas because it cooled down a bit. But still, if this ridge stays where it's supposed to be, like the forecast is saying, the weather models, then it could be very bad for not only the heat, but then afterward, because once the Gulf is hotter, it's harder to get rid of that heat because it stays there. It just keeps coming back in. Now, off the east coast of the United States, 26 degrees Celsius isotherm line. It's about here. No, this is 24, this is 25. 26 is about right here. 26 is about here. And then it goes out like this. And it goes out up here briefly. It's warming up everywhere. South of this line, it's pretty much warm enough for a major hurricane. Well, not a major hurricane. South of this line is pretty much warm enough for a tropical storm or higher. There's 30 degrees Celsius off the coast of North Carolina and stuff. Now, I believe this heat will increase these temperatures faster. I'm not too keen on this being 30 degrees Celsius. I don't think that's going to happen. But this could definitely go from 26, 27, 28, where it is now, to like closer to 30 down here, and then 29, 28 closer to North Carolina. Maybe you warm up the waters off the east coast, the northeast coast of the mid-Atlantic. Maybe if this goes up to 24 or 25, it's warm enough. If it keeps that way, you could get the 26 isotherm to come up to around where Delaware will be. So it crosses like this line. Something like that. It could happen. But it's pretty bad, guys. Now, departures from average. Now, this data set is from 2018. But in the Arctic, the water is extremely warm. About at least 2 degrees above normal. But it's more 3, 4, 5 degrees above normal. It's almost black in a lot of these areas. So it's really warm. Off the northeast, off the southeast coast of Canada, and the northeast coast of the United States, the northwest Atlantic, put it mildly, it's a lot warmer closer to land. Not as warm out to sea, but it's still pretty warmer than average. The subtropics of the Atlantic are colder, so this should focus instability in the main development region, which is this area right in here. This area between Africa and around where Jamaica is. Around to 70 degrees west, which I believe is right here. Yeah, around 70 degrees west. From close to Africa here to 70 degrees west, north of the equator from about 10 north, which is here, to 20 north, which is here. But it's pretty warm. La Nina is still going. However, the eastern part of it has moderated a little bit. Gulf of Mexico is still warm, but not as warm as it was. Not as warm as it was. And the Mediterranean is pretty warm right now. As is. And the water near Australia and New Guinea, New Zealand, is pretty warm. So this still tells us we still have a lot of Nina pattern going on because the warmer water is being pushed over here. Sea surface temperature analysis. Now this feature, I'm going to try and use this to tell you how the ocean has changed, if that makes any sense. You need to find archive, because we can't go too far. My phone. Oh no. I didn't really get anything. Okay. Okay. But let's go back. Let's go to the Western Atlantic. Actually, the North Atlantic. Let's go here. Let's do this. So let's go back to the beginning of July. Let's go back. Right? Now, let's go into the future. Oh wait, is it not changing? Okay, it is. Never mind. Now, if you remember, well, I didn't upload for a few days, so you guys probably don't. But if you remember watching the Gulf during the early part of July, I believe the peak warmth was around the 10th. I know my battery's going low. 32%. We'll try. Uh-oh. Okay. Alright guys, I'm gonna have to end my video right here. But it was pretty warm in the Gulf, so it was warmer before and storms have taken it down. But it can easily get back to there. And I'm gonna have to end the video, guys. I'm sorry.